Hello, my ghoulish glamazons. On this most wicked of nights, we're diving into a world where glitter meets ghosts, martinis are shaken, and spirits are literally wandering. Welcome to the most special episode of Hot Air, coming to you on the spookiest, if you can't tell I'm excited, on the spookiest night of the year. Right now, when you're listening to this, I am in New Orleans. I am on a spooky haunted tour, and then I'm going to get ready dressing up as fucking Chucky, but like a kind of like fashiony Chucky. And then I'm going to hit the town out in New Orleans. So if you're in New Orleans, I am traveling on my lonesome. Probably shouldn't say that in case somebody tries to kill me, but hit me up, slide in my DMs. I need friends to go party with. I want to do all the spooky things. So I'm going to grab my glass. I have a black little mimosa situation here. Cheers to Halloween. Stay safe, stay sexy, stay fucking fierce. Have the most amazing Halloween. Cheers. Let's take a little sip together. Oh, I forgot. I also have one of my bloody jello shots. This is just leftover. I made jello shots that looked like blood in syringes for many of my friends this past weekend. So this is leftover. So I thought, you know what? I'll just eat this on air. Eat it live so everyone can watch me struggle. Ooh, what? It's really cold. I have very sensitive teeth. Also, I forgot how strong those jello shots were. So probably by the end of this episode, I'm going to be slurring. Add my see, it's already happening. Add my mimosa and my jello shot. This is going to be fun. Fuck. Focus, Josh. All right. I'm not even Halloween when I'm recording this, but it's Halloween when this is out there. So now I'm getting so excited. But today, reeling it in, we are going to raise a glass to the fabulous and the paranormal. From haunted gay bars to queer ghost stories, we're spilling the possibly haunted tea. So pour yourself a drink, dim the lights, and prepare for a cocktail of sass, history, and spectral shenanigans. Happy Halloween, and let's hit it. We are starting with a little roundup of some haunted gay bars across the United States. And we are starting in New Orleans, again, where I am right now, probably having the time of my life, with Café Lafitte in Exile, which I might be saying that wrong, but I tend to do that, so whatever. So, it opened in 1933. Café Lafitte in Exile began its journey in a building that once housed pirate Jen Lafitte's blacksmith shop. After a brief exile, the bar reopened at its current location on Bourbon Street in 1953, earning its In Exile moniker. Over the decades, it has become a haven for the LGBTQ plus community, attracting patrons from all walks of life, including the likes of Tennessee Williams and Truman Capote. And you better believe that I'm going there for a drink tonight, honey. Meet me there, okay? But the real stars of the show, the resident spirits. Tennessee Williams, the famed playwright known for A Streetcar Named Desire, was a regular at the bar, and witnesses claim to have seen his apparition seated at his usual spot, sipping a drink and engaging in quiet conversation. Truman Capote, the celebrated author of In Cold Blood and Breakfast at Tiffany's, is said to haunt the bar's stairwell, with patrons occasionally glimpsing his ghostly figure, adding an extra layer of literary allure to the haunted atmosphere. And then there's Mr. Bubbly, a mischievous spirit known for pinching patrons on the rear end, bringing a touch of levity and cheeky, no pun intended, playfulness to the bar's spectral reputation. More tragically, Bill Neville, the former manager who was murdered in 1981, is also believed to haunt the upstairs theater. His presence felt by many, especially during the quieter hours, when the whispers of history seem the closest. Beyond its haunted history, Café Lafitte in Exile is also known for its classic cocktails, most notably the Obituary cocktail, which highly likely I'm drinking right now, a gin martini with a spritz of absinthe. Originally created at a former incarnation of the bar, this drink has made a comeback thanks in part to journalist Sue Strachan's book, The Obituary Cocktail, and it continues to be a staple at Café Lafitte. There's something magical about sipping a drink that carries a story, a ghost, and a legacy all at once. And if you're curious, head to my Instagram later today at underscore hot air pod. I'll post some pics. If this place is still open, I'm gonna go get me that drink and I'm gonna look for some ghosts. You better believe it. This whole weekend, I'm looking for ghosts. Next up, we have Bourbon Orleans Hotel or Bourbon Bar. This opened in 1817 as Theater Orleans. This grand venue was the crown jewel of New Orleans' cultural scene. With its ornate architecture and lavish performances, it rivaled the finest opera houses in Europe. But as with many tales of grandeur, tragedy struck. In 1816, a devastating fire consumed the theater, reducing it to ashes. Undeterred, entrepreneur John Davis rebuilt the theater, and within 5 years, it became a hub for opera, ballet, and masquerade balls. The adjoining Orleans Ballroom, or Salle d'Orleans, which I'm so good at French, was the site of the infamous quadroon balls, where wealthy Creole men selected women of mixed African descent as mistresses in a practice known as placage. These events were steeped in both allure and controversy, setting the stage for the hotel's very complex legacy. That's already a lot for one location to be involved in. In 1881, the Sisters of the Holy Family, the first African American covenant in the United States, took residence in the building. They transformed the space into a covenant, orphanage, and school for African American girls. During this period, the building became a place of both nurturing and sorrow, as many children succumbed to yellow fever. Their spirits, along with those of the nuns who cared for them, are said to linger in the hotel's halls. I should have stayed at this hotel. Guests and staff have reported encounters with several spectral figures. The most infamous is the apparition of a nun in room 644, where it's rumored that a nun took her own life. Guests have reported hearing anguished cries and waking to find the figure of a nun standing at the foot of their bed. Maybe I shouldn't have stayed there because if I saw that, I would flip the fuck out, even though I live on the 6th floor. The sounds of children's laughter and the sight of a little girl chasing a ball have been reported, believed to be the spirits of children who perished during the yellow fever epidemic. In the ballroom, once the site of the quadroon balls, a lone female figure has been seen dancing alone, her movements graceful yet filled with melancholy. Some believe she is a courtesan from the past, forever bound to the place where she once captivated audiences. But it's not just the apparitions that make the Bourbon Orleans Hotel so intriguing. The building itself seems to carry the weight of its history. Guests have reported sudden drops in temperature, unexplained noises, and a sense of being watched. The hotel's rich tapestry of past lives, opera stars, courtesans, nuns, and orphans creates an atmosphere thick with history and mystery. Again, that is a lot of shit that happened there. Today, the Bourbon Orleans Hotel stands as a testament to New Orleans' layered past. It offers luxury accommodations. That's, I guess, probably why I didn't stay there because I probably can't afford it. A heated saltwater pool and a prime location in the heart of the French Quarter, right by all the fun little gay bars. But for those seeking a brush with the supernatural, it also offers a chance to experience the lingering spirits of its storied past. And again, go to my Instagram. I'm going to swing by there today. Now, we're going to move to New York City. Mary's Crisis Cafe. Nestled at 59 Grove Street, Mary's Crisis Cafe is a beloved piano bar known for its spirited sing-alongs and a clientele that ranges from Broadway stars to enthusiastic tourists. But beneath the lively tunes and camaraderie lies a rich tapestry of history and a few spectral residents. The building that houses Mary's Crisis Cafe was constructed in 1839, but its history stretches back even further. In 1809, the site was the home of Thomas Paine, the English-born political activist and author of Common Sense. Paine spent his final years here, and it's believed he died in this very building. Some say his spirit never truly left. Over the years, the establishment has undergone numerous transformations, from a brothel to a speakeasy during Prohibition, and eventually to the piano bar we know today. Each incarnation has left its mark. And with those marks, some say, came the spirits of the past. Patrons and staff alike have reported strange occurrences. Some claim to have seen a figure dressed in colonial attire, believed to be Payne himself, wandering the premises. Others have experienced sudden drops in temperature, unexplained noises, or the sensation of being watched by unseen eyes. One particularly chilling tale involves a mysterious, face melting entity. Described as a grotesque figure with a distorted face, this apparition has been spotted by several visitors, leaving them shaken and questioning what they even witnessed. And truly, I feel like I'm a melting, distorted face right now because it's hot in the room I'm recording in. But everything's going to be okay. Back to the cafe. Despite, or well, actually, perhaps of its haunted reputation, Mary's Crisis Cafe remains a vibrant part of New York City's nightlife. Whether you're there for the music, the history, or the chance to encounter a ghostly presence, one thing is certain: a night at Mary's is never just ordinary. And from the East Coast, we're going to the West Coast all the way to LA to HMS Bounty Bar. Located at 3357 Wilshire Boulevard, nestled in the base of the historic Gaylord Apartments, the HMS Bounty Bar has been serving patrons since 1962. And it's not necessarily a gay bar. I mean, it's in a building called Gaylord, but it is near West Hollywood. It's nautical theme, complete with portholes, ship wheels, and dark wood paneling, transport visitors to a bygone era. But beneath the seafaring decor lies a history as murky as the deep blue. The Gaylord Apartments, where the bar resides, were constructed atop what was once a city dump. Yummy. A place where, in the early 20th century, bodies were sometimes discarded. Not exactly the ideal foundation for a peaceful night's sleep. So what am I waiting for? Let's talk about the hauntings. Patrons and staff have reported a series of unsettling experiences. In the ladies' room, women have claimed to feel an invisible hand pinch them, only to turn around and find no one there. Why are all these ghosts such pervs? Like, keep your hands to yourself. Some have even reported seeing a leering man in the mirror, only for him to vanish when they look away. But the hauntings don't end there. Tenants of the Gaylord Apartments have reported strange knocks on their windows and phantom footsteps echoing through empty halls. One particularly eerie incident involved a bartender who, when asked about the bar's ghost stories, became uncharacteristically silent, mumbling about the other ghost before abruptly stopping the conversation. So, either he was high or tired or a ghost himself. Now, because of its haunted reputation, the HMS Bounty Bar remains a beloved dive in Koreatown. It's dark, moody ambiance, affordable drinks, which we love, and old school charm continues to draw in both the living and the, I guess, not so living. So, if you're ever in Koreatown and need a stiff drink with a touch of supernatural, HMS Bounty has got you covered. I said it was near West Hollywood. I really thought that was near West Hollywood. So this has nothing to do with queer history or gay bars, but whatever. It's spooky season. We love ghosts. Go there for ghosts. Okay, we're coming all the way back to New Orleans to the Jimani Bar. A lot of New Orleans here, obviously. Jimani Bar is nestled in the heart of New Orleans French Quarter at 141 Chartres Street. The Jimani Bar stands as a testament to the resilience of the LGBTQ plus community and the enduring spirits of those lost in a tragic chapter of history. So this one is authentically gay, okay? In 1973, the building now housing the Jimani Bar was the site of the Upstairs Lounge, a gay bar and the temporary home of the Metropolitan Community Church. On June 24th of that year, a devastating fire broke out, claiming the lives of 32 individuals, making it the deadliest attack on a gay bar in U.S. history until the 2016 Orlando nightclub shooting. The tragedy was met with indifference and even hostility from some quarters, with families refusing to claim the bodies of their loved ones due to shame. How sad. And media outlets making callous jokes about the victims. The lack of empathy and justice left a deep scar on the LGBTQ plus community. That's heavy. Things just got real dark up in this bitch. Today, the Jimani Bar continues to operate on the first floor, while the second and third floors, once home to the Upstairs Lounge, remain unused and partially damaged. The spirits of those who perished in the fire are said to linger, their presence felt by staff and patrons alike. Reports of paranormal activity include unexplained cold spots, whispers from unseen voices, and the faint scent of burning hair and charred flesh. It's not a good smell. If you've never smelled it, consider yourself lucky. I used to work in cosmetic surgery and had to be in there when they're cauterizing all the things. It doesn't smell good, okay? Some have even claimed to see a full bodied apparition on the second floor, where the upstairs lounge once served customers and doubled as a church congregation's meeting place. Now, in honor of the victims, a memorial plaque was placed on the sidewalk in front of the building in 2003. Despite facing challenges, including the theft of the plaque in 2024, the community's commitment to remembrance remains steadfast. The plaque was replaced in June 2025 on the eve of the 52nd anniversary of the fire. For those seeking a unique experience, the Jimani Bar offers more than just drinks. It provides a connection to a poignant piece of LGBTQ plus history. Whether you're a history enthusiast, a paranormal investigator, or simply someone looking for a memorable night out, like I am tonight, the Jimani Bar invites you to raise a glass in honor of those who came before us. And again, go to my Instagram because I'm going to go there, which is kind of fun. People are going to be listening to this on Halloween, and in real time, I'm going to be going to these bars, and I'll share some pics and some stories. That'll be fun. That's where we're going to leave the haunted gay bar action. We're going to take a quick break from the ghostly business, and we're going to talk about something that is actually happening right now. You may have heard of this, the interstellar object that is flying through space and is headed right for us. And if you haven't heard of it, it is making headlines, so you must not be like watching or reading the news. But don't worry, I'll fill you in on what could be an interstellar object filled with a bunch of fucking aliens that are going to arrive this time next Halloween. And that's not a joke. So we are leaving the familiar skies of Earth and we're venturing into the vastness of interstellar space. A visitor has entered our solar system, a comet unlike any other that we have observed, known as 3I Atlas. This object is, not from here. Its origins lie beyond the familiar paths of our solar system in the cold, dark expanse of another star system. And you might be asking, what makes it so extraordinary? Well, scientists recently detected nickel in its coma, which is the first time we've ever observed nickel in an interstellar object. Nickel is rare in comets, especially ones from outside of our solar system. It raises questions. Was this comet forged in the remnants of a distant supernova? Or more intriguingly, could it be carrying something more intentional, something artificial, or something alive? In July 2025, astronomers using the Atlas Survey telescope in Hawaii first spotted the object. From the beginning, 3I Atlas stood out. Its trajectory was hyperbolic. It was moving too fast to be bound to the sun, confirming that it had traveled light years from another star system. Astronomers quickly trained their instruments on it, trying to discern its composition, its behavior, and any hints of its mysterious past. The detection of nickel was unexpected. Comets in our solar system are generally rich in water, ice, carbon. Nickel is associated with high temperature processes, possibly hinting at a violent origin. This tiny clue, invisible to the naked eye, has sparked conversations across the scientific community. What created this object and what secrets is it bringing with it? And that is where our story takes a turn towards the extraordinary, or extraordinary, however you want to say it. Could 3I Atlas be more than just a comet? Some scientists cautiously have allowed themselves to speculate. If the nickel content is so unusual, could it be evidence of artificial processes? Could it be a probe of some kind, a seed sent from across the galaxy carrying traces of a civilization we have yet to encounter? Question mark, question mark, question mark. But really though, imagine it. An interstellar wanderer, millions of light years in the making, arriving in our solar system carrying messages, biological or technological, from a distant world. The nickel could be a marker, a component of machinery, or even part of a bioengineered payload. While these ideas may seem very far-fetched or like I'm literally pulling them out of my ass, History shows us that when we open our minds to the possibilities of the universe, the unexpected becomes plausible. And I believe what I read today, there's only been 8 times in history that there has been an interstellar object, and this is hundreds of times the size. It is going to be getting into our solar system and close, I believe, to Mars on October 29th next year, 2026. And it's going to come the closest to Earth just days before Christmas. And you might be able to see it with the naked eye, but you will definitely be able to see it with your telescope that you can order from Amazon, your janky ass little telescope. That's what the scientists have said. So I think the timing is crazy that it's going to be here around Halloween next year. So 1 year from now, this bitch is going to be popping up. And you should definitely go look at some of the videos on YouTube that show this object that they've seen from the telescope. The way it is moving through space is like everything else around it is just floating and still. And this thing is just traveling fast as hell. It's crazy to look at all these other stars and objects that are simply floating around it. And this bitch is just zooming right towards us. And I believe it's like a chance of 1 in 500 that this object is on this trajectory because it's technically headed directly for us, not directly, it's not going to hit us as that they think, for it to enter our solar system and come as close as it is to many of the planets in our solar system, including ours, is like highly unlikely. So that's why they think like, is this something that was planned? Was it sent? Does it have a navigation system? And what the fuck is coming with it? And well, if you don't know, I love aliens and UFOs, and that fascinates me. So a little spooky, a little bit more grounded. Could be the end of the world, but hey, we got another year. All right, we're leaving the Interstellar behind, and we're coming back to ghostly paranormal territory. We're going to bring it back to some haunting tales, and we're going to talk about the original Spooky King, Dublin's literary ghost, Oscar Wilde. So Oscar Wilde, the flamboyant wit and celebrated playwright, remains an indelible figure in Dublin's literary history. Born in 1854 at 21 Westland Row, Wilde's early life was steeped in the city's rich cultural tapestry. Today, his birthplace houses the Oscar Wilde Center at Trinity College, a hub for Irish writing and creative expression. Wilde's Dublin was a landscape of intellectual salons and spirited discussions. His childhood home, now a part of the American College Dublin, stands as a testament to his early years. Just across the street, in Marion Square Park, a vibrant statue of Wilde reclines on a rock. His attire crafted from jade and blue pearl granite, reflecting his larger-than-life persona. Among his favorite spots was the historic Shelbourne Hotel, a venue where Wilde often mingled with Dublin's elite. Today, visitors can enjoy a drink at the Wilde restaurant in the Westbury Mall, named in his honor, of course. While Wilde's physical presence left Dublin in 1876, his spirit is said to linger in the city's literary corners. The Oscar Wilde Center, located in his birthplace, is often associated with his lingering presence and paranormal activity. Additionally, Wilde's connection to the supernatural is noted in the works of Irish medium Hester Dowden. In her 1924 publication, Psychic Messages from Oscar Wilde, Dowden claimed to have communicated with Wilde's spirit, offering insights into his posthumous existence. Oscar Wilde's legacy in Dublin is not just confined to statues and plaques. His spirit, intertwined with the city's literary heritage, continues to inspire and intrigue. Whether through his birthplace, the Oscar Wilde Center, or the tales of his spectral presence, Wilde's influence endures, making Dublin a city where the past and present coexist in a dance of words and whispers. And that was just a fun little section because Oscar Wilde was gay. His ghost is hanging around Dublin. You know, whatever. These drinks are slopping now. And now it is time for our final spooky listener tale for spooky season, which I'm sad about. But, I mean, you can keep them coming. If you have more scary stories, send them to me so I can read them in my spare time. But this is the final one for October 2025. But perhaps next year we'll have some more to share. This letter comes from Lila, and here's what she writes. Dear Hot Air, after listening to one of your recent episodes in which a listener shared a scary story, I finally felt compelled to share my story. I should preface this by saying I am a lesbian. And while my tale has nothing to do with gay ghosts, I've always loved stories about the unseen, the weird, and the things that crawl just beyond the corner of your eye. I moved into our house in Connecticut when I was 3 years old. It was an old, creaky home, the kind with uneven floorboards, drafty windows that whistled at night, and a basement that smelled faintly of damp stone and old earth. My parents, my two older sisters, and I lived there. And at first, it seemed like the kind of home you read about in quaint novels, warm and full of character. But character quickly gave way to something darker. The first thing I remember noticing was the way the house would shift. Doors that were closed one moment would be slightly ajar the next, even if no one had gone near them. Footsteps echoed through empty hallways at night, sometimes soft and tentative, sometimes heavy and deliberate. It wasn't uncommon for my mother to call out to my sisters or me, only for us to realize we were already tucked into bed. I should be reading this much scarier. Let me change my tone. My older sisters would whisper about seeing shadows too, but my experience was different. I remember lying awake in my room, staring at the moonlight streaking through the curtains, and feeling a presence just beyond the edge of my bed. It was never threatening. It was more like curiosity, a quiet instance that I wasn't alone. At first, I tried to ignore it, but as the years went by, the house made itself known in subtle and terrifying ways. Is that better? Is that scarier? Good. Okay. We had a staircase that always creaked in the same spot, no matter how we tried to fix it. My dad claimed it was just old wood, but we all knew better. Sometimes when the house was silent, except for the hum of the heater, we would hear it. Not once, but slowly, deliberately, as if someone was pacing back and forth, counting each step. At times, it would stop, and the silence that followed felt heavier than any sound. The basement was another story entirely. My sisters and I were forbidden from going down there alone, not because my parents thought it was unsafe structurally, but because even they admitted that it felt, well, wrong. I remember peering down the stairs as a child, the light bulb flickering, then catching glimpses of shapes that didn't belong, the flick of a coat where no one was standing, the glimmer of eyes in the darkness that vanished when I blinked. I've tried to rationalize it as shadows and imagination, but the chill that ran up my spine was never imagined. Objects moved on their own. A cup left on the counter would appear in the middle of the hallway. My dad's keys were regularly misplaced, only to be found under the couch or on top of the refrigerator, in places he swore he never touched. And sometimes, just sometimes, we would hear whispers, indistinct, almost like a conversation happening just out of reach. It never formed words that we could fully understand, but the cadence was unmistakably human. I am actually scared now, and I have chills. And there's one memory that haunts me more than others. I was about 8, laying in bed, and I heard my name whispered. Not once, but over and over again. Lila, Lila. I froze, afraid to move, afraid to call out. Then, a cold breeze swept across my room, strong enough to lift the edges of my blanket. And then I felt it. Someone or something sitting at the edge of my bed. I couldn't see it, but I could feel the weight of it. I don't remember sleeping at all that night, only the strange sense that the house had acknowledged me and finally introduced itself fully. Even my parents, skeptical as they were, admitted strange occurrences. My mom once woke up to the sound of someone combing their hair in the attic. Oh my God. Though none of us had gone up there in years. My dad would wake to the smell of pipe smoke in the living room, though he hadn't touched a pipe in decades. And my sisters, well, they each had their own experiences. Mirrors reflecting faces that weren't theirs, fleeting touches in empty hallways, cold spots that followed them as they moved. I really could go on for pages. The house had a life of its own. It wasn't malicious, but it wasn't benign either. It was aware. And maybe it still is. I moved out years ago, but whenever I return, I feel it. The subtle pressure of a presence lingering just beyond sight. as if the house itself remembers me. I've never told many people these stories because, frankly, I worry I'll sound crazy, but I know what I experienced, and I know that old homes, especially ones that have been lived in for generations, hold on to echoes. Sometimes they whisper, sometimes they shift, sometimes they make their presence felt in ways that defy explanation. Thank you for letting me share this. Even if my ghosts weren't flamboyantly queer or dramatic, they were mine. They shaped my childhood, made me feel alive in fear, and gave me a lifelong respect for the unseen. Yours in whispers and shadows, Lila. Damn, Lila, you better write that shit, bitch. That was good. Please write a book. Creepy. I actually definitely got chills. Lord, give me strength. And, well, I guess that's it. That is the end of our spooky season episodes. And it's been fun. It's been a lot. It's been fun. We've covered so much over the last month, from horror icons to these listener tales to my deep dive analysis of why Scream is like very, very gay, to UFOs, to the Babadook. We've really covered the whole damn thing. I feel like I can retire now, but there's still much more to talk about. So thank you for sticking with me through spooky season, and I really hope you enjoyed this slight departure from the regular topics and the heaviness. It was actually quite a nice little breather to keep things a little bit light since the world is pretty damn heavy right now. So starting in November, we're going to get back to regular hot air business. I have a lot of guests lined up. Whatever you're doing for Halloween, throw on some good ass music, beat that face, put on your heels, your platforms, your sexy ass costume, and go out there and have so much fucking fun. Again, make sure you're following me on Instagram and TikTok at _hotairpod, especially if you want to keep up with me on Halloween weekend. I'll be in New Orleans for 3 full days, doing all the spooky and all the gay things. Hopefully a lot of gay things. Wink, wink. Don't tell my mom I said that. She's probably listening. Sorry, mother. And if you want to share your listener stories, head on to my website, hotairwithjoshuarobert.com, and you could submit your listener stories there. So stay sexy, stay confident, have a shot for me. I won't be having any shots because I'll die, but you have one for me. Happy gay Christmas. Go fuck it up out there. And I will see you next Tuesday.